Good morning, everyone. It's January 17th, 2020. I'm Eric. So, there's a new Netflix series, and this is not going to be totally a review of this series. It's going to aid me in leading into my overall point. The series is called Messiah. And not a bad series, actually. My wife and I binge watched the first season over the course of a couple of days, and the producers, creators, writers, they did a very, very good job of the emotional aspect of what would happen if such an individual were to come forth. The person who plays the Messiah couldn't have asked for a better character. It's a very, very good series. Now, I don't know if he's going to end up being the Antichrist or anything like that, but so far he's performed, some minor miracles. He's walked on water, that kind of thing. And, wouldn't it be nice? Let me show you who this guy is, in case you haven't seen him. That's the guy right there who plays the Messiah. He, the first episode, he stands in a massive dust storm in Syria and preaches. And he doesn't preach like you hear in church. And one thing that struck me about his role is something that he said when asked the question, "Are you a Muslim or a Christian?" He said, "I walk with all people." That's pretty powerful. I walk with all people. No. Now, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if some savior came along and changed the world? Wouldn't that be nice? Now, all of you know by now, I'm not a religious person. I don't pray. I don't go to church. That's not to say I don't have beliefs. However, there is no Savior coming to save you. There is no one who is going to pull this world from the downward spiral we are currently experiencing. It would be nice that such a powerful deity would come and straighten everything out. It would. It would be really, really nice. Unfortunately, this will not be the case. You have to understand something. You are your own Messiah. You are your own Savior. And if Jesus were to come back, I believe there was a person named Jesus. I do. I believe he was probably a great man But you have to be Jesus. You have to. We can't wait for others to save us. We will perish in doing so. We will all die if we wait for a Savior. Now, I'm not saying that it's not possible that such a thing could happen. As far as I'm concerned, anything is possible. And here's the deal, though. Let's say this person comes back and he's able to do all the things Jesus was able to do or said. I wasn't there, so I don't know for sure what happened, but is said to be able to do. What do you suppose would happen to this person? Now, if indeed Jesus did die on the cross, as the Christians say, and he was put through all manner of torture, why would he want to save the people who did this to him? He'd be a much, much better man than me, because if I had that kind of power, and I'm going to be honest with you, if I had that kind of power, there would be a huge, unprecedented price for humanity to pay. I know I'm speaking painstakingly slow, right? I'm sorry about that. That's just how I am. I'm a mellow, easygoing individual. I do not need to speak as if I'm on meth or something like that. But this Messiah, he comes back and he leads a group of Muslims to the border of Israel. And all hell breaks loose. Then he disappears and ends up in the United States. I fear that if such an individual came back and was sincere in saving our world, I fear that the very same thing would happen all over again. I fear that people of this world, no matter what their eyes saw, would persecute this individual. I used to make drum beats and background music for a couple of rapper dudes. They're good guys. Their music was a bit different than your commercial rap. It was more like, awakening type stuff. And I wrote a lot of their lyrics. And one of the songs I made for them was Jesus Died in Vain. And I hate to say it, he did. He did die in vain. We are all people. we all have stake in this world. Every race has children that they love. Every religion has children that they love. A lot of people would like to say that we're so different that our differences cannot be reconciled. I disagree. I disagree. And the way these differences can be reconciled is so simple. Do you know how that is? The way they can be reconciled is by living and let live. By minding our own business. But, you see, here in the United States, people think they have to have their nose in everybody else's business. And as long as this is the case, nobody's going to change, because they're not reflecting upon themselves. They are judging others through their glass homes. They're casting stones through the glass of their homes. The entire time I watched this first season, every episode sent shivers through my body. Because the guy who plays the Messiah, the words he speaks in this show are pretty profound and pretty dead on. And I've never come to my audience and recommended you watch any kind of TV series. There's a few good out there, but I'm not much of a TV person. But as soon as I saw this trailer, I knew I had to watch it. I really and sincerely think it would be nice for such an individual to exist. But I understand that we must be this individual. We must be the saviors of this world. And if no one steps up to the plate to save this world from the tyrannical, bully governments, it will burn. It will burn and burn some more. And I can prove this to you. Okay? I can prove that if we don't take action ourselves, this is our responsibility. There is no hope. We are the hope. We are the change. I mean, it would be nice for some giant world-changing event to happen, to do it for us. And we may end up getting that wish, but meanwhile, We have to be the change. And a first good step to this change is how we treat one another, how we treat our neighbor, how we treat our children, how we deal with our enemies who clearly have an intent to kill as many of us as they can. This would include your beloved president, Donald Trump. It would be nice for a savior. It would be. But what would be even better than that is for humanity as a collective. And I'm an individualistic person, but certain things take a collective, and this is one of them. Humanity as a collective is responsible for changing the wrongs being committed on a daily basis in our names. The bombing of Iraq into oblivion and the wholesale slaughter of the women and children is on our hands. It's done in our names. And I'm going to be honest with you. This makes it very, very difficult for me to sleep. So, if I look like I'm distressed, it's because I am distressed. If I look like I'm strung out, it's because I am strung out on coffee and cigarettes and over-the-counter stay awake pills. If I look like I'm in anguish, it's because I am. I anguish for you. I feel you. I feel all of you. And this is something that I do not enjoy. I do not want to feel this way. However, there's no getting rid of it. So I have to deal with it. Feeling this way. Now, I know I've said this a lot, but I will say this again. I challenge you, any of you who see this video, to give me one instance, just one, one instance of a government and a police force and a church, a religion, that has actually done good. Now, some of you might argue, well, churches provide food for some needy people, and this is true. Some of them do. But with that hand, they're doing their outreach and trying to feed these people. And on the other hand, they have their pastor or priest, whatever you want to call him, bishop, in the background molesting children, which would completely nullify any of the good that's done by these people. Before we can make this world a better place, we have to get rid of the control freaks who make it a horrible place. We have to get rid of the people who build nuclear power plants on fault lines and in tsunami-prone areas. We have to get rid of individuals who protect big corporations such as Monsanto and Bayer. We have to get rid of individuals who glorify the wholesale slaughter of nations. We have to do what is right. We have to do what is just. And until the masses begin this process of doing what's right and what's just by getting rid of these pedophiles, of these power-hungry, warmongering, lying sacks of shit, we will continue to slide down the path of destruction. If you have not checked out that show, Messiah, I strongly suggest you do. It's very, very much worth the watch. Again, I'm not a TV person. I don't like watching TV too much. But this individual in the show is treated exactly as one would expect such a person to be treated, with hostility and hatred, suspicion. And don't get me wrong, we should be suspicious of anyone claiming they can change the world, because again, this is not something that one person is going to be able to do. This is something everyone has to have part in. Everyone has to have a role in. And without it, we will end up as a planet, a species, living and dying in vain on a barren wasteland of a planet. It's up to us, people, and nobody else. Nobody is going to come down from the clouds to save you. No. Even if, let's just say for the sake of argument, okay? Even if the Anunnaki exists, even if Enlil, the god that hated humanity and wanted us to be destroyed, changed his mind, and decided we were worth saving, what would that look like? Wouldn't it be better for it to be on our own terms? Wouldn't it be better if the financial and social collapse were done on our own terms and not the enemy's? And Jesus said, love your enemy like you love yourself. But he did not say to be defenseless against these enemies. Instead, he said, sell your cloak and buy a sword. It is up to you, me, and everybody else to wield our swords.